Today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2021, and our I Can for today says, I can add and subtract fractions using a chocolate bar. We're going to start with a real quick review of what we did yesterday, and then we're going to do a fact family. So let's start with a mixed number. So this is our review. Four and 3/8. How would I draw 4 and 3/8 if I wanted to show it in chocolate bars? Well, I would start by drawing one whole chocolate bar, two whole chocolate bars, three whole chocolate bars, four whole chocolate bars. I still need more of another chocolate bar, don't I? Yes, because this 4 and 3/8 is more than 4. I need to show 3/8 in this last chocolate bar. So I'm going to take this and split it into 8 pieces, which means I'm going to draw 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I split this one into 7 lines, I need to do that with all the rest of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's get to coloring. We need to show 4 chocolate bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3/8 of another one. So 1, 2, 3. Does this show me 4 holes? 1, 2, 3, 4 whole chocolate bars. That's where my 4 comes from. And then 3/8 of just this last little piece. Yes. So now I'm going to count. Let's see. This is the whole thing. So that one must be 8/8. And this is the whole thing. That would be 8/8. And this is the whole thing. So that would be 8/8. And this is the whole thing. That would be 8/8. And this is 3/8. Let's see here. I need to add up 8/8 plus 8/8 plus 8/8 plus 8/8. 2, 3, 4. That was 4 8/8 plus 3/8 more. 8, 16, 24, 32, 33, 34, 35. That gives me 35/8. I think that's my improper fraction for this mixed number. A mixed number has a big number and a fraction. An improper fraction has a larger number on top than on the bottom. Let's double check. I'm going to do a number bond. I'm going to use the recycling sign first. I'm going to multiply and then add. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 3 more, 32, 33, 34, 35. I think my answer should be 35/8. Look, that's what I got. That's my double check. Now I'm going to take 35/8 and I'm going to do a number bond. I'm going to take out 8/8 as many times as I can. 8/8 plus 8/8, that's 16, plus 8/8, that's 24, plus 8/8, that's 32, 33, 34, 35, plus 3/8. And all of these together give me 35/8. Now I can rename this 1. I can rename this 1. I can rename this one. And I can rename this one. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 3/8 more gives me 4 holes and 3/8. Is that what I started with? That's my triple check. Not so bad, right? That's really what we focused on yesterday. It just takes some practice and getting used to. So if you haven't felt good about it yet, don't worry, we're still practicing. All right, Moving on a little bit. Let's start with a fact family. We have done lots of these this year. We're going to start with a fact family, but in our fact family, we are only going to have fractions. So make your little fact family house. Let's see here. All right, the fractions living in my fact family house are 2/8, 3/8, and 5/8. In a fact family, we have 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences. Thumbs up if you remember doing this before. Fantastic. So who can give me 2 of the little pieces that we can add together? 2/8 plus 3/8 equals 5/8. Great job. What would the second equation say? Remember, I'm going to use the commutative property and just switch them around. So it would say 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. Great job. When I add, I have my little pieces and they add up to the biggest piece. The little pieces add up to the biggest piece. When I subtract, which piece do I have to start with first? The biggest piece. So I have to start with 5/8 both times. This one doesn't just get switched around. So I can do 5/8 minus 2/8, and that would give me 3/8. Or I could say 5/8 minus 3/8 gives me 2/8. And this is a fact family. Addition is commutative, right? We can just switch it around. Subtraction is not commutative. We cannot just switch it around. The biggest number always comes in the front. All right, so that's a little bit of a review also. Let's move on to talk about adding and subtracting fractions. We have 4 examples to do, but I want to show you something before we do that. Just another way of thinking about these numbers, because this will come in handy for us in the next few days. What does 8/8 equal? 1 whole. Okay, good job. What about 3/3? 1 whole. What about 6/1? This equals 6. If I take a number and I just put it over 1, it just equals whatever that number is. So I wanted to show you this because this one looks a little confusing, doesn't it? Okay, what about this? What if I had, instead of 8/8, what if I had 16/8? That would equal 2 whole chocolate bars. What if I had 24/8? That would equal 3 chocolate bars. Let's look at thirds now. So 3/3 is 1 whole. 6/3 would be 2 wholes. And 9/3 would be 3 wholes. Do you see the pattern? Really, when we see a fraction is really just a division problem. What it's saying is, what is 6 divided by 3? Well, 2. What is 9 divided by 3? Well, 3. Okay, so a fraction can also be written as a division problem. All right, we have our 4 examples for today, and we are done. I think you're going to find that you like this. Example number 1. I'm going to ask you to take 3/5 and add 1/5. What will you get? 3/5 plus 1/5 gives us 4/5. Does anybody know what a too fast 4th grader would tell me? 3/5 plus 1/5. Oh, that's easy, Miss Kirsten. It equals 4/10. This is what we call a no-no. because we never add or subtract the denominator. If it's 5, then it's 5 and it stays 5. Okay, we keep the denominator always the same. So this is a no-no. Never add or subtract the denominator. Let's go ahead and write that. Never add or subtract your denominator. That is a super important rule. It will help you every day. Never add or subtract your denominator. Never, ever, 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 ever. Let's do a chocolate bar just to show how much this is worth and why 4/10 doesn't work. If I had a chocolate bar and I split it into fifths, that would mean I had to make 4 lines down. And I colored in 3 of them. That's for my 3/5. That's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. If I add 1 more fifth, all that means is I'm going to add another piece. That's my 1/5 right there. Here's my 3/5 right here. 3/5 plus 1/5 more gives me 4/5 because I would count all of these pieces up. My pieces didn't change size, right? They're not suddenly tenths, they're still fifths. 3/5 plus 1 more fifth gives me 4/5. All right, number 2. Number 2 says 3/7 plus 2/7 equals what? I know some of you know it already. Don't be a too fast 4th grader. 3/7 plus 2/7 equals, if you said 5/7, you are right. What's my no-no? What would a too fast 4th grader do? They would say 3 plus 2 equals 5 and 7 plus 7 equals 14. This is what we call a no-no. No-no. Because we never add or subtract your denominator. Let's draw it into our chocolate bar just to prove our point. I need to split my chocolate bar into 7ths. So I'm going to draw 6 lines down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to color 3/7 orange. And I'm going to color 2/7 yellow. And when I count all of those pieces up together, let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get 5/7 because the pieces are still 1/7 each. I didn't split the pieces and get 14ths, right? They're still the same size. So 3/7 plus 2 more 7ths gives me 5/7. Thumb up, thumb down, thumb in the middle. How are we doing? All right, let's change it up just a tiny bit. These are not super hard, okay? And the best news is they don't get harder today. This is all we're practicing. What if I had 4/5 and I asked you to take away 2/5? A takeaway is different. It's not getting bigger. It means it's getting smaller. So some of you know this. 4/5, take away 2/5, that would leave us 2/5. A too fast 4th grader might say 4/5 minus 2/5. They would say 4 minus 2, they get 2. 5 minus 5, they get 0. This is a no-no. No, no. Do not do that. Remember, the rule says we never add or subtract your denominator. The denominator, if it's fifths, it's going to be fifths. It's going to stay fifths. Okay? Let's show this on a picture because subtraction looks different. Here's my chocolate bar. I want to split it into fifths, so how many lines down should I make? 4 lines down. And I'm going to color in 4/5 because that's what I started with. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there are my 4/5. Now it says to take away 2/5. Well, you know what take away means. I'm going to cross them off. All right, I crossed them off. How many am I left with? 2/5. And that is my answer. So when we're subtracting, we cross off the pieces that we're taking away. When we're adding, you have to add more pieces. All right, let's do one last one. Last one of the day. Not too bad, right? Here's number 4. And then we're going to write our very important rule one more time. What if I had 6/8 minus 4/8 equals 6/8 minus 4/8 equals, some of you know it, 2/8. Tell me what a too fast 4th grader would have done. This is going to be some of you. I want to prevent you from making this mistake. 6 minus 4 equals 2, and 8 minus 8 equals 0. No, no. This is a no-no. Do not do this. The rule is we never add or subtract the denominator. If it's 8s, it's 8s, it stays 8s. Okay? Never add or subtract the denominator. I can't tell you what an important rule that is. Never add or subtract the denominator. If it's 8s, it's 8s, it's 8s, it stays 8s. Let's draw this one in a picture, and I think it'll help it make more sense. Our final chocolate bar of the day. I need it split into 8ths, so how many lines should I make? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, they weren't my best lines ever. It's going to be okay. I'm going to color in 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 6/8 is what I started with. 6/8 is what I'm showing in my chocolate bar. Now it says take away 4/8. Does that mean I should add more? No, it means I should take away or cross off 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all crossed off. Am I left with 2/8? Yes. They're not zeros. It's not 2 zeros. It's not 2/16. 2/8 because it was 8ths. They're still 8ths and still 8ths. The pieces, the size doesn't change. The size of each piece is still the same. That's about it. So take your time. Please use your notebook and be careful if you're adding or subtracting. You don't want to make a too fast 4th grader mistake. Have a good day.